Okay, so here we are on turn 31. The Axis decided to go first. We're currently in the Allied reaction phase. The Germans, we're looking at the center here at the moment. Germans have moved up some more forces. They're going to try and clear a line through here. Swung some elements of 21st Panzer down through this area here to their current position. Managed to hip shot and DG a reserve stack of reserve artillery, and we're going to attack there in the combat phase. And then from this stack here, we'll try and attack these infantry and clear our roadway right through. It's costing a lot of units and supply to both sides here in this little battle. But the Allies are definitely nervous about the condition of their flank, so failed a few barrages in here. I would have liked to DG all the Allied units that I'm adjacent to in this area, but was not to be. We're starting to get out of range of our headquarters. Thankfully we have trace supply sources that we don't need the headquarters for, but in terms of throwing supply forward, I think we might need to move the headquarters from Gafsa up shortly if we want to keep this adventure going, which is another question entirely. I don't know if we've got enough force to push into the Allied flank, but we'll keep fighting and see if we can't figure something out. Okay, there's really all that's happened so far. Nothing at the Mareth Line. It's just waiting for the Allies to figure something out. Closer to the north here. Come around. The Germans are kind of outrunning their supplies network here. The Tunis headquarters can't reach this area, so I've had to move up some supply to these units. They do have a trace supply source in this area, but again, it's trying to think whether this is worth our while to be pushing here. I don't know if we'll be able to cut any Allied forces off, but we really want to try because it looks like a tasty option. It's just the supply network's not cooperating. We would like to take out a French HQ that's here as well. Alright. So I guess that will be it. Check back in a minute. We're going to do a few combats and barrages, and we'll see if the Germans can't advance in the center here. Okay, so here we are at the end of the German turn. The Allies did react with this 9 barrage strength artillery and DG'd this stack here with some strong units in it. They were poised to attack Tebessa, which is here, but decided not to do so after becoming DG'd. We did attack the reserve stack to the rear of Tebessa, killing it and becoming exploit capable. So what I did was in the exploit phase with this stack was attack Tebessa at fairly low odds. I think it was 2-1 in close, and ended up getting surprise. It was action rating 5-1, which is why I attacked. But there was 3 steps in that hex. We killed 2, but 1 remained, and we had to take an option as the Germans. So we ended up taking it as a loss, because if we were to retreat, we would have had to go into an enemy zone of control, which would mean we would have taken a loss anyway. So we decided to hold next to the city. We should be able to capture Tebessa, and I think that might be the extent of our adventure down here in the Allied flank. I think we'll hold on to Tebessa, which is a victory point in the Axis victory conditions, and try and just hold on to that and hold off 8th Army with everything else we can. So certainly be a little worried of Allied forces in this area kind of trying to surround us once we do decide to just stop and hold on to a position. But there's not a ton of rail networks around here, but still a worry I'm having. they do have a lot more units than the Germans do. Alright, so that's it for the Axis, and we'll move on to the Allied turn. Okay, interesting situation here, just in the Allied exploit phase. Wasn't a lot happening in movement and whatnot, so I didn't bother recording. But what we've done here is, in the combat phase, we barraged these two hexes here and succeeded. Now, since our front line was relatively unchanged, the Germans opted not to barrage. So what I did, since I was not DG'd, I did end up attacking. Like these three stacks here were surrounding that unit, so we attacked and killed this infantry unit here. Had to take a loss ourselves. We rolled fairly poorly there, but now all that is left in this Mareth Line hex is a 1 combat strength AR1 Italian infantry battalion. So we've released reserves of infantry brigade, this infantry battalion, and another infantry brigade here. So we have 13 points of attack, going to be attacking 1 in the open. Actually, not even 1 to be half. So that'll be max table. So we should be able to claim our first Mareth Line hex. And then we also had a huge stack of New Zealand forces here. 1, 2, 3, 4 units here that are going to try and attack this way here. Try and get us into a better flanking position here. But with this, and if this succeeds, we might be in a fantastic position should we get the double turn here. So I'm gonna go solve these combats and we'll check back in shortly. Okay, so just finished combats here. Succeeded in this one. Fairly obvious that was going to happen. So we have now captured a hex of the Mareth Line, so that's a positive. Now to the negatives. We attacked here with the New Zealand infantry. Ended up getting defender surprise for 5 shifts, putting us on a 1 to 3 in close, and then we rolled a modified 3, so the result was attacker lose 2, so we had to lose this actuating 5 MG and this infantry here, so not successful there. Really bites. Okay, so that is going to be the end of the turn, though. Actually, I forgot to do something. I'll go do that now. But we will roll for initiative here first, or weather and then initiative. Weather will be clear, and now we'll roll for the initiative. And the Axis win initiative, thank God, and they will try and fortify their line here. Yeah, I think they'll fortify instead of pulling back to the next set of hedgehogs. They're not entirely done. They might even be able to push the Allies out of their positions here. So, okay, so we'll move on to the 1st of March. Alright, just about to start March 1st. Kind of thought I'd go over the plans for the Germans for March. I think we have to put a stop to some of our adventures in this area here. Our C cap is now only 3, so when we're trying to fight on all of these fronts, as well as try and prepare a defensive line around the Gabus area, should the Mareth Line fall apart, we're not really in a supply situation to keep this going. So I think we're going to pull back in the center here. We're going to hold on to Tebessa, hopefully. Hopefully we can do that. It looks like we're in a comfortable position there right now. Once we do actually take the city, we haven't actually done that yet. I would like to be able to hold this area, but it's just a little supply prohibitive. I don't want to lose the headquarters from Bezert to move over there. just in case an opportunity arises there where we can push on here. I want to have that headquarters in Bizerte to throw supply forward should we need it. And I don't want to move the one in Tunis because this is our final fallback position should everything go wrong. So I'd rather just hold on to what we've got here. It is a real kick in the teeth to not be able to be more adventurous here, but like I said, it's going to be supply prohibitive to do so. The Mareth Line is pretty much, we're just going to hold out for as long as we can in those positions. I'm trying to funnel some more supply down there to hopefully build up in the Gavis area here, just to the rear of it. We want to prepare these positions here for when the Allies eventually do get through, whether they go straight through or end up flanking around. We want to be prepared for it, and right now I'm not sure if we are. I feel like we're strong in the front, but that's essentially it. Once you crack that, I don't think it's going to hold very long. There's too many of these weak Italians. So I'm considering bringing 10th Panzer down in this direction. I'm not sure about that. That would be a good force to have in Tunis, Bizerte area, just in case. But we'll see. I think 21st and 15th Panzer are going to have to stay in the Gafsa and Tabessa area to hold on to those points. There's a decent amount of Allied forces in that area, and with us pulling out of with us pulling our forces out of the center here, it's going to release some more units to come down this way. So we'll definitely need to maintain our strength here, maybe even boost it a little bit. What else? I guess that's essentially it. Yeah, so kind of hold on to what we've got. Maybe this will be a high watermark for us. It's all downhill from here, I guess, which we knew was coming, but yeah, alright, so let's get started with the German turn then. Okay, quick update of the situation down here at the Mareth Line. The Germans were concerned about this breach here, so what they opted to do was release some reserves from this stack here of the 90th LE division. They went down this road and overran that hex. We actually had fighter sweep the area first, cleared it of aircraft, and brought some bombers in. Hip shot there and succeeded, and did a few more hip shots as well. So we successfully DG'd it, then overran with 3 units, 2 motorized infantry and a recon. This guy here rolled extremely poorly, and ended up getting an attacker lose 1, option 1, defender option 1. So the defender lost their AR-5 New Zealand infantry battalion, but they hold on to the hex still. Now, while the Allies want to press the issue and capture this hex, because if they don't do it in the movement phase, then the Allies are going to release reserves and refortify it. So we want to capture it, but we're afraid of continuing any overruns. We don't have any strong stacks, and anything we do to divert our attention away from the line and to that hex is going to weaken us elsewhere. So we can't really win here. I should have set up some reserves, or not reserves, but at least some stronger forces deeper in the line should a situation like this have arisen. So some infantry back here and a decent stack would have been nice to meet any breach with an overrun. Yeah, not quite sure what we're going to do. We might just have to hold these positions and just DG any units that do come forward. Maybe we can attack in the combat phase even if they do fill up that hex. So I think that the German movement will be finished here, and we'll stick with this situation as it is now. Alright, so here's a view of Tebessa. The Allies were pushed out of the city, losing both units in the process. Did it in the movement phase, so that we wouldn't have to roll for that guy there for supply purposes. He would have been cut off otherwise. Took 2 overruns, but we eventually did take it, killing 1 unit the first time and the second guy on the second overrun. From there, we just kind of changed up our defenses in the back here. Brought Italian forward to hold near Kasserine, and moved up this anti-tank battalion here. In the center here, just a little bit down from the north, we did pull back. We're at the river line here, and actually we're going to pull back a bit more. Okay, so we pulled back behind the river now, and 10th Panzer has moved back to this river point here. They would have moved further, but there was a DG'd artillery, so we're just going to slowly pull back, and then next turn we'll probably pull entirely out of that area and decide where we're going to go from there. So time for some Allied reaction. I don't think I'm going to do any moves in the north here. It's been really quiet in the north, which kind of stinks because it was a lot of fun to play the north. But it's pretty stagnant at the moment. Both sides are really... the Germans are comfortable and the Allies are nervous to do anything. So yeah, going to be dull there for a little while, I think. Okay, so time for Allied reaction. Okay, so Allied reaction has been focused here in the Mareth Line area. They released elements of British 1st Armoured who moved this way and into that hex here. We also released some artillery and barraged one of the stacks adjacent to our captured stack or captured hex here. Successfully DG'd that stack. Then in the German combat phase, they did a barrage on the units that had moved into that hex and succeeded. So now we're at a point where we need to decide whether or not we want to attack. I believe the factors in the area would only make it probably a 3-to-1 attack, but there is a level 2 hedgehog, so I don't think we're going to go for it as much as I want to. Definitely concerned though about the Allies just blasting through, kind of cutting us off here. We wouldn't be entirely cut off. We've got this side road here that would trace a supply into this pocket, but I'm just afraid of losing troops in some of these weaker stacks back here. Yeah. No, we're not going to attack. I think we will pass. There's too many steps in there, so even if we did roll well, it's unlikely we would kill everything and clear that hex out, and then the Allies would just be able to reinforce it come their turn. So we'll call that a turn for the Germans then, and nothing else on the map I see that they need to do, and we'll now begin the Allied turn. Alright, quick update here in the Allied movement phase. Did a few hip shots with the Desert Air Force. DG'd this stack here as well as this one. DG'd this one initially. We planned to go that way, but because of the unit density here, I didn't realize there was a wadi between this hex and that hex, so we couldn't overrun from here to here. So tried again with our barrages and DG'd this hex. So now we're going to release this 7th Armor stack from waiting and come up into this hex here and then overrun into there. And hopefully we can start getting a bigger bridgehead. Right, so I'm going to go do this now. Alright, so here's our situation after Allied movement. May do a few more moves here and there, but I'm done with overruns at this time. So, what happened? 7th Armored moved first. I moved 5 tank battalions together. They went up this path here into our captured hex of the Mareth Line and overran this hex here. Managed to kill off 1 unit, but had to take an option ourselves, which we took as a retreat, and puts us there now. So the second half of 7th Armored, which was much weaker, few motorized infantry and recon, I believe, overran that hex again and succeeded in killing a step and forcing an option, which this Italian infantry here took as a retreat. So that puts us in that situation. We captured a second hex of the Mareth Line. Then released some fairly weak 1st Armored units who attempted to overrun this weak-looking stack here. Managed to inflict a single step loss, but had to take one ourselves. Could have been better there. We did end up rolling for attacker surprise, but ended up rolling very poorly on our combat roll, which seems to be a trend for the Allies here, is doing fairly well, even getting surprised sometimes on their die rolls. But then the combat roll is just a disaster. So, wish we could turn that around, but the Germans are happy about that. So, done here, I believe, for movement at the Mareth Line. Have to finish up moves on the rest of the map. Probably won't be much, just a little restructuring. A lot of restructuring in the center, I think, near Kasserine and Tebessa. But that's it for now. So we'll check in with that once I'm finished there, and we'll see what happens after German reactions here. It's probably going to be a little bloody with this large stack that's stuck here, and all this artillery in the area. So we could see a step loss there. I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, so here's the situation after German reaction. The Germans were lucky enough to have some reserve artillery here, which they released and ended up barraging that tall stack. No step losses. The Allied Air Force actually bombarded these 2 hexes in the movement phase as well, DGing both. So we may even attack despite this DG here. At least this hex, I believe. Yeah, this one has no terrain modifiers, so we'll probably do that. Try and thin the numbers of our own hex here, hopefully by movement and not by loss. But yeah, we'll take a look at the rest of the map here. Here in the center, we've kind of just fortified up the rail line here, and put a couple units on this rail and road here. Not a lot, but we're hoping the Germans, without a rail line, won't be able to go in that direction. If they were able to get in this direction, it'd be disastrous, because our main headquarters, which supplies the entire front, is right here. Would be bad for the Germans to get there. So we're hoping this is enough to slow them down. There's a para unit on its way over as well. Brought a tank over here as well, just in case they decide to go that way, should they figure something out supply-wise, or an organic truck or anything like that. That's pretty much it. You can see kind of at the top here, just moved up, taking those positions that 10th Panzer had abandoned. Not expecting much action there now. So interesting here in the south, actually at the Mareth Line, is the supply situation, which is not great for both sides. I think, not including organic truck supply, we've only got supply point and a half for the Brits, and just that gave us here the Axis. Well, the Axis aren't bad. 2 supply points, and they can also trace back, or not trace back, but they have a headquarters in Safax, which has some supply as well. only a token right at the moment. I've been moving it between here and GAFSA as well. So, but there's a decent supply network here at least, where they all kind of feed off of each other. Whereas the allies are kind of stuck here. They might have to just build up before they can go all out here. Alright, so I think we may attack in this area. It looks like a complete shit show with all these DGs right now, so we'll try and clear out some units and try and capture another hex in this Mareth Line. Alright, so here we are at the end of the Allied turn. They succeeded in their attack there. Just forcing an option, they had to take a loss on their action rating unit, an AR5 recon, armored car. So that hurt a little bit, but the Axis kind of saw the writing on the wall here and decided to just retreat instead of taking a loss. There was a few armor units left in reserve back here, so all that would have been left was 2 artillery units, so they decided better to preserve our own armored car and retreat than to try and hold that hex down with 2 DG'd artillery units. So here's our situation. It's obvious the Axis are going to have to pull back to this part of the Mareth Line now and really start thinking about what they're going to do after this. I was hoping we would hold out longer here, but it doesn't look to be the case. I think I know where the Axis are going to send 10th Panzer. Definitely coming in this direction. Alright, so I guess that is it for this turn. We will do the weather and initiative roll now. Alright, so this will be for March the 5th. Turn 33. So we'll roll for weather. I miss. And weather is fine. Okay, so now initiative. If the Allies win this, it could be really bad. But they always seem to lose the ones they need. So here we go. And they win. Wow. Alright, this is gonna be it's gonna be bloody, I think. The only thing holding us back right now is supply. We do get 3 supply points in the south here per turn, so that will boost us up a little bit. Maybe we'll fly a little bit more in as well. Could even upgrade the airfield in the area here. Try and get a little bit more in. Geez, we're gonna flip all these units here. I should turn the camera. Flip all these units to combat mode. The German reserves are sort of spent. German aircraft is not entirely ready to go here. Oh, this could be really bad. Definitely could see us DGing this whole line here, and attacking these already DG'd units here. If we could hit them here before we even get to the next line, or the next hedgehog line there, then it might be early end of the game here. I've said that multiple times, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay, well, should be exciting. Shit, it's gonna be crazy. Alright, I'm really excited to keep going.